They called it a vacation. I called it war. My name is Lucille, and I was sitting in my ex-husband's pristine living room, watching his new wife explain why my children needed to spend their summer in Europe instead of with me. Vanessa had that smile, the one that looked warm until you noticed her eyes stayed cold. "It's really an opportunity for the kids to bond with their new family," she said, her manicured fingers wrapped around a coffee mug that probably cost more than my grocery budget. "Quinn and I think it would be so beneficial for them to experience real culture together. Real culture, real family." She kept using that word, real, like I was some discount version of motherhood. Quinn nodded along like a bobblehead. "The kids are excited about it, Lucy. They've never been to Italy." I watched my 10-year-old daughter, Reese, shift uncomfortably on the couch. She wasn't excited. She was confused. Fred, my 7-year-old, was too busy playing with his action figures to understand that the adults were discussing erasing 2 months of his summer with his actual mother. "It's just," Vanessa continued, tilting her head with practiced sympathy, "we've already booked everything. The villa in Tuscany, the cooking classes, the art tours. It would be such a shame to waste it. And it's not like you can afford to take them anywhere like that," Quinn added. The casual cruelty in his voice was so familiar, it barely stung anymore. I looked at my children. Reese was staring at me with those dark eyes that mirrored my own, waiting to see what I'd do. Fred had stopped playing and was listening now, sensing the tension even if he couldn't name it. "When would you leave?" I asked. "July 15th, Vanessa said quickly. "For 6 weeks. 6 weeks. The entire heart of summer. The time I'd been planning since our divorce was finalized. Beach trips, camping, lazy mornings, movie nights. The time that was legally, contractually mine." "That's my custody period," I said quietly. Quinn's jaw tightened. "Come on, Lucy. Don't be difficult about this. The kids want to go." "Do you want to go to Italy?" I asked Reese directly. She glanced between her father and stepmother, then back at me. I guess it would be cool." The hesitation in her voice told me everything. She was 10 years old, being asked to choose between disappointing the adults who controlled her daily life and abandoning her mother for the summer. What choice did she really have? "See?" Vanessa's smile widened. "She's excited. And Fred, you want to see the Colosseum, don't you, sweetie?" Fred nodded enthusiastically. At 7, he still believed adults had his best interests at heart. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not anger. Anger was hot and messy and gave them ammunition to call me unstable. This was something else, something patient. "Well," I said, standing up and smoothing my jeans, "it sounds like you've thought of everything." Quinn blinked. He'd been prepared for a fight. Vanessa's smile faltered slightly. "So you're okay with it?" she asked. "I want my children to be happy," I said. It wasn't a lie. It just wasn't the whole truth. "Great!" Vanessa clapped her hands together. "I'll send you the itinerary. The kids will have such an amazing time. A real family vacation." There it was again. Real family. I kissed Reese and Fred goodbye, promising to see them next weekend. Reese hugged me a little tighter than usual. "I love you, Mum," she whispered. "I love you too, baby. More than you know." The drive home was quiet. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't call my mother or my lawyer or my best friend to vent. I just drove, thinking about that word, real, and how Vanessa wielded it like a weapon. At home, I went straight to my bedroom closet and pulled out a small fireproof box from behind my winter coats. Inside were the important documents: birth certificates, insurance papers, and my divorce decree. All 47 pages of it. I flipped through the dense legal language until I found what I was looking for. Page 23, Section 4, Subsection C. The custody clause Jerome had insisted on during our negotiations. The one Quinn's lawyer had barely glanced at because they were so focused on the financial settlements. My finger traced the sentence slowly. Any travel outside the continental United States with the minor children requires written consent from both parents with a minimum of 60 days advance notice. I smiled for the first time all day. They wanted to play house with my children. They wanted to erase me from their summer, their memories, their lives. But they'd forgotten one very important thing. I was still their mother, and I'd never signed anything. I called Jerome at 7 in the morning. He answered on the second ring, which meant he was already at his office with his first cup of coffee. "Lucy, everything okay? Remember that custody clause you insisted on? The travel one?" A pause, then a low chuckle. "Oh, this is going to be good. What did they do?" 6 weeks in Italy. During my summer custody, they've already booked everything. And they asked for your permission when? They didn't ask. They told me yesterday. Trip's supposed to start July 15th. Jesus Christ! Jerome's voice shifted into lawyer mode. That's 3 weeks from now. The clause requires 60 days minimum notice. They're not even close. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the divorce papers spread in front of me. Can you refresh my memory on the exact wording? I don't need to look it up. I wrote it. Any international travel requires written consent from both parents with 60 days advance notice, no exceptions. And here's the beautiful part. Even if they tried to claim emergency circumstances, Italy isn't exactly a family crisis. What about the kids' passports? Expired, I'm guessing. Most kids' passports expire every 5 years, and yours would need renewal signatures from both parents. They can't even apply without you. I felt that cold satisfaction spreading through my chest again. So they're stuck. They're fucked, Jerome said bluntly. And the best part? This isn't about being vindictive. This is about following the legal agreement they signed. You're not the bad guy here, Lucy. You're just enforcing the contract. Quinn's going to lose his mind. Let him. He should have thought about that before he tried to steamroll you. Want me to draft a formal response? Not yet. I want to see how this plays out first. After I hung up, I made breakfast and tried to focus on normal things. But my phone started buzzing around 10. Quinn. Hey, quick question about the kids' passports. Do you know where they are? I waited an hour before responding. In my safe. Why? Quinn. We need to get them renewed for the trip. Can you bring them by today? Me. What trip? The typing indicator appeared and disappeared several times. Finally, the Italy trip we discussed yesterday. Me. Oh, right. When did you say you were leaving again? Quinn. July 15th. We talked about this? Me. That's only 3 weeks away. Passport renewals take 6 to 8 weeks minimum. My phone rang immediately. Lucy, what the hell are you doing? I'm not doing anything, Quinn. I'm just pointing out that passport renewals take time. We can expedite them. Not without both parents' signatures, and even expedited takes 2 to 3 weeks. Silence. Then, fine. Can you meet me at the passport office today? I'm busy today. Tomorrow then. I'll have to check my schedule. Lucy. His voice had that edge I remembered from our marriage. Don't play games with me. I'm not playing games. I'm just busy. You know, single mum life. Very hectic. I hung up and immediately called my mother. Mum, can you take the kids this weekend? I think Quinn might try to ambush me. Of course, Kongai. What's happening? I explained the situation. My mother listened without interrupting, which meant she was getting angry. When she got angry, she got quiet. They think they can just take your children away from you for the summer. That was the plan. And this Vanessa woman, she thinks she can replace you? She keeps calling herself their real family. My mother made a sound that was half laugh, half snort. Real family? This girl doesn't know what real family means. Real family doesn't abandon. Real family doesn't replace. Real family fights. I'm fighting, Mum. Good. Your father and I didn't come to this country so our daughter could be pushed around by some spoiled woman who thinks money makes her a mother. By evening, my phone was blowing up. Quinn had called 6 times. Vanessa had texted twice, both messages dripping with fake sweetness about working together for the children. The last text came at 9 p.m. from Quinn. The passport office says we need your signature for expedited processing. Can you meet us there tomorrow at 10? I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, Actually, I just remembered something. Don't we need to follow the custody agreement for international travel? I should probably review that first. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Quinn. What are you talking about? Me. The 60-day notice requirement for international travel. It's in our divorce decree. My phone rang instantly. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. And again. Finally, I answered. Lucy, you're being ridiculous. It's a family vacation. Whose family? The kids' family. Our family. I'm their family too, Quinn. And according to our legal agreement, I have a say in international travel. You're really going to do this? You're going to ruin their vacation over some technicality? I'm not ruining anything. I'm just following the rules you agreed to. This is insane. You're being vindictive. I'm being a mother. I hung up and turned off my phone. Tomorrow, the real fun would begin. The next morning, I turned my phone back onto 17 missed calls and 12 text messages. I made coffee first, then scrolled through the chaos. Quinn. We need to talk. This is about the kids. Vanessa. Hi, Lucy. I'm sure we can work this out. The children are so excited. Quinn. Call me back. Now. Vanessa. Maybe we got off on the wrong foot. Can we meet for coffee? Quinn. You're being completely unreasonable. Vanessa. I understand you're upset, but let's think about what's best for Reese and Fred. The messages got progressively more desperate. By the last one, sent at 2 a.m., Quinn had dropped all pretense. Fine. What do you want? I was still reading when my doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Quinn pacing on my front porch, running his hands through his hair. Vanessa stood behind him, perfectly composed despite the early hour. I opened the door, but didn't invite them in. We need to talk, Quinn said immediately. Good morning to you too. Lucy, please. The kids are devastated. They think the trip is cancelled. Is it? Vanessa stepped forward, her smile strained. We're hoping we can find a solution that works for everyone. Maybe we could adjust the dates, or shorten the trip. The custody agreement requires 60 days' notice. Today is June 24th. You'd need to leave after August 23rd. That's impossible, Quinn snapped. The kids go back to school August 20th. Then I guess you have a problem. Vanessa's composure cracked slightly. Lucy, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but this is about the children. They've been looking forward to this for weeks. Have they? Because yesterday Reese seemed pretty unsure about leaving me for the entire summer. She's just conflicted because she loves you, Vanessa said, her voice taking on a patronizing tone. But sometimes children need to be encouraged to try new experiences. By their parents, not their stepmother. The word hit like a slap. Vanessa's smile disappeared entirely. Quinn stepped between us. Look, we can make this work. What if we took them for 4 weeks instead of 6? That gives you 2 weeks of your custody time. That's not how custody works, Quinn. It's not a negotiation. It's a legal agreement. You're really going to hide behind technicalities? I'm going to follow the law. You know, that thing you used to respect when you were trying to take half my assets. Vanessa tried a different approach. What if we included you somehow? Maybe you could join us for part of the trip. I almost laughed. You want me to come on your family vacation? Well, not the whole time, but maybe a few days. The kids would love that. No, they wouldn't, because you'd spend the entire time making it clear I don't belong there. Quinn's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his face went pale. Shit. The travel agent is asking about the passports. We were supposed to submit them today. You should probably call her back, I said helpfully. Lucy, please. I'm begging you. The deposits alone are $15,000. That's unfortunate. Vanessa's mask finally slipped completely. You know what? This is exactly what I expected from you. Quinn told me you'd be difficult. Difficult? Vindictive. Petty. Using the children as weapons because you can't handle that Quinn moved on. I'm using the children as weapons? You're the one trying to take them away from their mother for the entire summer. I'm trying to give them opportunities you never could. Like what? Learning to see their mother as disposable? Quinn grabbed Vanessa's arm. Van, stop. But she was done pretending. Those kids need stability. They need a real home with 2 parents who can actually provide for them. They have a real home, with their real mother. A mother who works 2 jobs and lives in a rental house? A mother who was there when they were sick at 3 a.m. A mother who knows Fred's afraid of thunderstorms and Reese hates mushrooms. A mother who didn't just show up and decide to play house. Vanessa stepped closer. Those children call me Mom now. No, they don't. Fred does, and Reese is starting to. Because you bribed them, because you made them feel guilty for loving me. I made them feel welcome in their father's home. By erasing me from it. Quinn finally found his voice. This is getting out of hand. Lucy, just tell us what you want. Money? More custody time? What? I looked at him for a long moment. I want you to follow the agreement you signed. I want you to respect the fact that I'm their mother, and I want you to stop pretending I don't exist. We're not. You are. Every time you make plans without consulting me, every time you let her discipline my children, every time you act like your new life is more important than the life I'm building with them. Vanessa crossed her arms. So that's it? You're going to ruin everything out of spite? I'm not ruining anything. You planned a trip you legally couldn't take. That's not my fault. Quinn pulled out his phone. I'm calling Jerome. Maybe he can talk sense into you. Go ahead. He's the one who wrote the clause. Quinn froze. What? The 60-day notice requirement. Jerome insisted on it during our divorce negotiations. He said it was important to protect both parents' rights. You planned this. I planned to protect my custody time. You planned to ignore it. Vanessa's voice was ice cold. This isn't over. No, I said, stepping back toward my door. It's not. I closed the door and watched through the window as they argued on my front lawn. Quinn was gesticulating wildly. Vanessa was typing furiously on her phone. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You have no idea what you've started. I deleted it and made myself another cup of coffee. Let the games begin. The war escalated over the next 2 weeks. Vanessa's strategy became clear during my regular pickup on Friday evening. Mommy Lucy! Fred ran toward me, but stopped short when Vanessa appeared in the doorway. Remember what we talked about, sweetie, she said, with that saccharine smile. You can call me Mommy V now. It's less confusing. Fred looked between us, his 7-year-old face scrunched in confusion. But she's my mummy. You can have 2 mummies, Vanessa said, kneeling down to his level. Isn't that special? And Mommy V is the one who lives with Daddy all the time. I felt my jaw clench. Fred, go get your backpack. As he ran inside, Reese emerged, dragging her feet. She looked exhausted. Hey, baby, ready for our weekend? I guess. She barely looked at me. Reese has been having some adjustment issues, Vanessa said, loud enough for my daughter to hear. We think it might be easier if she stayed here this weekend, for consistency. That's not how custody works. Well, we can't force her if she doesn't want to go. I knelt down to Reese's level. What's wrong, sweetheart? Reese glanced at Vanessa, then back at me. Nothing. I have plans here. What kind of plans? Vanessa's taking me shopping for new school clothes, and we're going to get our nails done. We can do that too. But Vanessa said she already made appointments. I stood up and looked at Vanessa. Funny how these appointments always happen during my custody time. I'm just trying to bond with her. Isn't that what you want? I want you to respect the custody schedule. Fred came running back with his backpack, but Reese hadn't moved. Reese, get your things. We're going. But Mom... Now, Vanessa put her hand on Reese's shoulder. It's okay, honey. Your mum doesn't understand that you're growing up. You can make your own choices. She's 10 years old. She doesn't get to choose to skip custody. Maybe if you made your house more appealing, she'd want to come. I stared at her. What's that supposed to mean? Well, you know, kids like nice things, stability, a real home. My home is real. Of course it is. I just meant, well, Quinn told me about your financial situation. Heat flooded my face. Get Reese's bag, now. Mommy V. Fred tugged on Vanessa's dress. Are you coming with us? No, sweetie. I only live with Daddy. But I want you to come. Vanessa shot me a triumphant look. See? He's bonding with me. He's 7. He bonds with everyone. That's not very nice, Lucy. Reese finally went inside to get her bag, moving like she was walking to her execution. When she came back, her eyes were red. I don't want to go, she whispered. Why not? She looked at Vanessa again. I just don't. Reese, look at me. I waited until she met my eyes. Did someone tell you that you shouldn't want to come to my house? No. Are you sure? Vanessa stepped forward. She's coaching her, Quinn. Quinn appeared from inside the house. What's going on? Your wife is manipulating our daughter. I'm not manipulating anyone. I'm just being honest with her about her options. She's 10. She's old enough to have preferences. I looked at Quinn. Are you seriously okay with this? With what? Vanessa caring about the kids? With her undermining me every chance she gets? You're being paranoid. Am I? Fred, what did Vanessa tell you about having 2 mummies? Fred looked confused. She said I could call her Mommy V because she lives with Daddy, and you don't. And what else? That families who live together are more real? Quinn's face went pale. Van, we talked about this. I was just explaining the situation in terms he could understand. By telling him his actual mother is less real. That's not what I said. It's what you implied. I took both kids' hands. We're leaving. Now. Wait, Vanessa called out. I have something for them. She disappeared inside and came back with 2 gift bags. What's this? I asked. Just some things I picked up for their rooms at your house. Fred immediately started digging through his bag. Wow, a new tablet. Reese pulled out an expensive-looking jewellery box. It's beautiful. There's more, Vanessa said sweetly. But those are for when you come back. I stared at her. She was literally bribing my children. Kids, put those back. But Mum, put them back, now. Fred's face crumpled. But it's mine. Mommy V gave it to me. Vanessa gave it to you. And she can keep it until you're back here. That's not fair. Fred started crying. Vanessa knelt down. It's okay, sweetie. Mommy V will keep it safe for you. Stop calling yourself that. Calling myself what? Mommy anything. You're not their mother. I'm their stepmother. I'm part of their family. You're Quinn's wife. That doesn't make you their mother. It makes me more of a mother than someone who only sees them on weekends. The words hung in the air like a slap. Even Quinn looked shocked. Van, what? It's true. I'm the one who packs their lunches. I'm the one who helps with homework. I'm the one who's here when they're sick. Because you moved into their father's house, that doesn't make you their mother. It makes me the woman who's actually raising them. I felt something snap inside me. Get in the car, kids. But my tablet. Get in the car. Both kids scrambled toward my car, Fred still sniffling. I turned back to Vanessa. You want to play games? Fine. But remember, I'm their mother, not you, not ever you, and no amount of gifts or manipulation will change that. We'll see about that, she said quietly. As I drove away, I caught Reese's eyes in the rearview mirror. Are you okay, baby? Mum, are you and Daddy going to court again? Why would you ask that? Because Vanessa said if you kept being difficult, they might have to ask a judge to make you be nicer. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. What else did she say? That judges usually want kids to live with families who can take better care of them. I pulled over and turned around to face both kids. Listen to me very carefully. I am your mother. I will always be your mother. No one can change that. Not Vanessa, not a judge, not anyone. Do you understand? They both nodded. And if anyone ever tells you differently, you tell me immediately. Okay? Okay, Mum. But as I started driving again, I realized Vanessa had just shown me her real plan. She wasn't just trying to replace me. She was trying to erase me completely. I spent the weekend creating a memory box with the kids. We went through old photo albums, printed pictures from my phone, and I let them pick their favourite memories to write about. Remember when we built that blanket fort during the snowstorm? Reese asked, carefully gluing a photo into our scrapbook. And you made hot chocolate with the little marshmallows, Fred added, his tongue sticking out as he concentrated on his drawing. What about when Mum taught us to make spring rolls at Grandma's house? Reese said. And I dropped mine in the sauce. Fred giggled. We spent hours like this, rebuilding what Vanessa was trying to tear down. By Sunday night, both kids were laughing again, the tension from Friday forgotten, but Monday morning brought a text from Quinn. We need to talk. Vanessa's concerned about the kids' emotional state. I called Jerome instead. She's escalating, I told him. She's trying to turn them against me. Document everything. Every conversation, every incident. We might need it. For what? If she's really trying to modify custody, we need to be prepared. That afternoon, I got an unexpected call from a number I didn't recognize. Is this Lucille? Yes? This is Tiffany, Vanessa's friend. We met at Reese's school play. I remembered her. Blonde, nervous energy, always hovering around Vanessa like a satellite. What can I do for you? Can we meet? I need to talk to you about something. We met at a coffee shop downtown. Tiffany looked like she hadn't slept in days. I probably shouldn't be here, she said, stirring her latte obsessively. But I can't keep watching this anymore. What Vanessa's doing to you, to your kids, it's not right. What do you mean? Tiffany glanced around nervously. She's been planning this for months, ever since she married Quinn. Planning what? To get full custody. She's been documenting everything. Every time you're 5 minutes late for pickup, every time the kids mention being sad at your house, every time you push back on anything. My blood went cold. What kind of documentation? Photos, recordings, a journal. She's been building a case that you're unstable and the kids would be better off with them full time. That's insane. Is it? She's got Quinn convinced that you're trying to sabotage their marriage. She tells him you're using the kids as weapons. I'm protecting my custody rights. I know that, but she's twisted it into something else. She's been talking to a family therapist, Dr. Martinez, about getting the kids evaluated. She can't do that without my consent. She's not going through official channels. She's paying him privately to assess their emotional stability when they're at Quinn's house. I felt sick. What has he told her? That Reese shows signs of anxiety about disappointing adults. That Fred is easily influenced. She's using that to build a narrative that you're causing them psychological harm. By loving them? By fighting for them. She's going to argue that all this conflict is damaging them, and the only solution is to minimize your role in their lives. I stared at her. Why are you telling me this? Tiffany's eyes filled with tears. Because I heard her talking to Reese last week. She was asking her questions about your house, your rules, whether you ever got angry, leading questions. And when Reese didn't give her the answers she wanted, she got mean. Mean how? She told Reese that good daughters don't lie to protect bad mothers, that if Reese really loved her family, she'd be honest about how you make her feel. Jesus Christ! Reese started crying. She's 10 years old, and Vanessa was making her feel guilty for loving you. Did Quinn see this? Quinn was at work. It's always when Quinn's not around. I pulled out my phone. I need you to tell my lawyer what you just told me. I can't. Vanessa's my best friend. Was my best friend. I don't know anymore. Tiffany, she's emotionally abusing my children. I know. That's why I'm here. But I can't testify or anything. I'd lose everything. My friend group, my social circle. Vanessa has a lot of influence. What can you do? She reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. I recorded her. Last week. She was on the phone with Dr. Martinez, talking about how to get Reese to open up about her home life with you. My hands shook as she played the recording. Vanessa's voice was clear and calculating. The older one is more resistant. She's very loyal to her mother, but if we can get her to admit that the custody battles are stressing her out, that might be enough. Children shouldn't have to choose sides. Dr. Martinez's voice responded, What about the younger boy? Fred's easier. He just wants everyone to be happy. If we can show that he's more settled here, more comfortable with routine and stability. And the mother? Lucille's going to hang herself. She's already being difficult about the Italy trip. The more she fights, the more unstable she looks. The recording ended. I felt like I was going to throw up. There's more, Tiffany said quietly. She's been coaching the kids, telling them that if a judge ever asks them questions, they should be honest about feeling caught in the middle. She's preparing them for a custody evaluation. Yeah, and she's convinced Quinn that you're going to try to take the kids away from him completely. He's scared, Lucy, scared enough to go along with whatever she suggests. I looked at Tiffany. Will you send me that recording? I can't. If she finds out I gave it to you, she's destroying my family. I know, but I can't be the one to stop her. I'm sorry. She stood up to leave, then turned back. For what it's worth, those kids love you. Anyone can see that. Vanessa's just... She's jealous. She wants what you have with them. And since she can't have it, she's trying to take it away. After she left, I sat in my car and called Jerome. We have a problem, I said. A big one. How big? She's been building a custody case for months, and she's using the kids to do it. Can you prove it? I thought about the recording I couldn't have, the testimony I couldn't get, the manipulation happening behind closed doors. I'm working on it. Work faster, Lucy. If she files first, we're playing defense. What do you mean? I mean she gets to control the narrative. And from what you're telling me, she's been writing that story for a long time. I hung up and stared at my reflection in the rearview mirror. Vanessa wanted to play dirty? Fine. Two could play that game. I spent Tuesday researching Dr. Martinez. Turns out he'd been sanctioned twice by the state board for conducting unofficial evaluations without proper consent. Jerome was very interested in that information. Wednesday, I made a call I'd been putting off. Charles Garcia's office. Hi, this is Lucille. I'm Quinn's ex-wife. I need to speak with him about a family matter involving my children. Hold, please. Charles came on the line within minutes. Quinn's boss had always been polite to me during company events, but we'd never spoken privately. Lucille, what can I do for you? I'm sorry to bother you at work, but I'm concerned about something involving Quinn and the kids. Is everything all right? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Quinn and his wife have been planning to take my children out of the country during my custody time, without following the legal requirements. A pause. I'm not sure I understand. They booked a 6-week trip to Italy starting July 15th. They never asked for my consent, which is required by our custody agreement. Now they're pressuring me to sign off on it. And you're calling me because if they take my children internationally without proper legal authorization, that's kidnapping. And I thought you should know that one of your executives might be involved in something that could become a legal issue. Another, longer pause. I see. I'm not trying to cause problems for Quinn at work. I'm just trying to protect my children and follow the law. Of course. Can you send me the relevant documentation? I'll have my lawyer forward the custody agreement sections to you. That would be helpful. And Lucille, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Thursday morning, Quinn called me in a panic. What the hell did you do? Good morning to you too. Charles wants to see me in his office. He's asking about legal issues with the kids. Maybe you should tell him the truth. The truth? The truth is that you're trying to destroy my career because you can't handle that I'm happy. I'm trying to prevent you from committing a federal crime. It's a family vacation. It's international child abduction if you don't follow the custody agreement. You're insane. I'm protecting my children, something you used to care about. He hung up. An hour later, Vanessa called. We need to meet. Today. I don't think that's a good idea. Please, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Maybe we can work something out. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet her at a restaurant downtown. She was already there when I arrived, looking perfectly composed, except for the slight tremor in her hands. Thank you for coming. What do you want, Vanessa? I want to apologize. I think I've been overeager about bonding with the kids. Overeager. I love them so much, maybe too much. I just want to be a good stepmother. By replacing their actual mother. That was never my intention. I stared at her. Really? Because Tiffany seems to think otherwise. Her composure cracked slightly. What did Tiffany tell you? Enough. She's been going through a rough patch, drinking too much. I wouldn't trust anything she says. So you didn't hire Dr. Martinez to evaluate my children without my consent? Vanessa's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. You didn't coach Reese about what to say if a judge asks her questions? I would never... You didn't tell Fred that families who live together are more real than families who don't? You're twisting everything. Am I? She leaned forward. Look, maybe I made some mistakes, but I'm trying to help those children. They're confused, Lucy. All this fighting between you and Quinn, it's hurting them. The only thing hurting them is you trying to erase me from their lives. I'm not trying to erase you. I'm trying to give them stability. By taking them away from their mother for the entire summer. By giving them a normal family experience. They have a normal family. With me. Vanessa's mask slipped completely. A normal family doesn't live in a rental house and work 2 jobs just to make ends meet. A normal family doesn't manipulate children into choosing sides. I'm not manipulating anyone. I'm just being honest with them about their options. Their options? About where they'd be happier, where they'd have more opportunities. You mean where you'd have more control? I mean where they'd have 2 parents who can actually provide for them. They have 2 parents. You're not one of them. Vanessa stood up abruptly. This was a mistake. Yes, it was. All of it. You have no idea what you're up against. Enlighten me. Quinn's filing for full custody next week. We have documentation of your instability, your inability to co-parent, your use of the children as weapons against us. Documentation from your pet therapist? From multiple sources. Teachers, neighbours, family friends. People who've seen how you behave. You mean people you've lied to. I mean people who care about Reese and Fred's well-being. If you cared about their well-being, you wouldn't be trying to take them away from their mother. If you cared about their well-being, you'd step aside and let them have a real family. I stood up too. I am their real family, and no amount of money or manipulation will change that. We'll see. Yes, we will. As she walked away, I pulled out my phone and stopped the recording app. Jerome had suggested I record any private conversations with her, and I was glad I'd listened. That evening, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Check your email. I opened my laptop to find a message from Tiffany with no subject line. The body contained a single sentence. I can't testify, but I can't stay silent either. Attached were 3 audio files. The first was the recording she'd played for me at the coffee shop. The second was Vanessa talking to someone about phase 2 of getting the kids adjusted to their new reality. The third was the most damning. Vanessa on the phone with Quinn, discussing how to make me look unstable in court. She's already playing right into our hands, Vanessa's voice said clearly. The more she fights, the more desperate she looks. By the time we're done, no judge will think she's fit for full custody. What if she has a good lawyer? Quinn's voice responded. Lawyers can't fix crazy, honey, and we have plenty of evidence that she's losing it. I forwarded all 3 files to Jerome with a simple message. Game changer. He called me 5 minutes later. Lucy, this is gold. Pure gold. Can we use it? We can use all of it. She just handed us her entire strategy. What's our next move? We file first, tomorrow morning, full custody petition with a request for supervised visitation for Quinn until he can prove he's not enabling Vanessa's manipulation. Can we win? With this evidence, we don't just win, we destroy them. For the first time in months, I smiled. Do it. The courthouse was packed on the morning of July 8th. I sat next to Jerome, watching Quinn and Vanessa whisper frantically with their lawyer across the aisle. Vanessa kept glancing at me with barely concealed fury. All rise for the Honourable Judge Patricia Williams. Judge Williams was a woman in her 60s, with steel grey hair and no patience for nonsense. She'd been handling family court for 20 years, and her reputation for cutting through bullshit was legendary. Be seated. We're here for the matter of custody modification in the case of Burke versus Burke. Mr. Mackenzie, you filed the petition. Proceed. Jerome stood up. Your Honour, we're requesting full physical custody for my client, Lucille Burke, with supervised visitation for the father, Quinn Burke, pending a full psychological evaluation of his current wife, Vanessa Burke. Quinn's lawyer, a slick-looking man named Davidson, shot to his feet. Your Honour, this is clearly a retaliatory filing. My client was prepared to file his own petition, but he didn't, Judge Williams interrupted. Ms. Burke filed first. Continue, Mr. Mackenzie. Your Honour, we have evidence that Mrs. Vanessa Burke has been systematically attempting to alienate the minor children from their mother through manipulation, coaching, and emotional abuse. That's a serious allegation. What evidence? Jerome played the first recording. Vanessa's voice filled the courtroom, discussing how to get Reese to open up about her home life with me. I watched Quinn's face go pale as he heard his wife's calculated tone. Your Honour, Davidson interrupted, this recording was obtained illegally. Was it? Judge Williams looked at Jerome. No, Your Honour. It was provided by a third party who was present during the conversation and consented to the recording. Continue. The second recording played, Vanessa discussing phase 2 of getting the kids adjusted to their new reality. Quinn was staring at his wife now, confusion and horror dawning on his face. "Mr. Burke," Judge Williams said, "were you aware of your wife's strategies regarding your children?" Quinn stood up slowly. "No, Your Honor. I had no idea." "Sit down, Quinn," Vanessa hissed. "Mrs. Burke, you'll have your chance to respond. Mr. Mackenzie, is there more?" "Yes, Your Honor." The third recording began. Vanessa and Quinn's voices discussing how to make me look unstable in court. But as it played, I realized something was wrong. Quinn's voice sounded different, more hesitant, less certain. "She's already playing right into our hands," Vanessa's voice said. "What if she has a good lawyer?" Quinn responded, but his tone was questioning, not conspiratorial. "Lawyers can't fix crazy, honey, and we have plenty of evidence that she's losing it." "Vanessa, I don't think—" "Trust me, baby, this is what's best for the kids." The recording ended. Quinn was staring at Vanessa with something close to disgust. "Mr. Burke," Judge Williams said, "it sounds like you had reservations about this plan." Quinn stood again. "Your Honor, I thought we were just trying to give the kids more stability. I didn't know about the recordings or the coaching or any of it." "Quinn, shut up," Vanessa snapped. "Mrs. Burke, you will not speak out of turn in my courtroom again. Mr. Davidson, control your client." Jerome stood up. "Your Honor, we also have testimony from Mrs. Tiffany Evans, who witnessed Mrs. Burke emotionally manipulating the children." "I'll hear it." Tiffany walked to the witness stand, her hands shaking. She'd called me the night before, saying she couldn't live with herself if she didn't speak up. "State your name for the record." "Tiffany Evans." "How do you know the parties involved?" "Vanessa Burke was my best friend. I've spent a lot of time at their house with the children." "Tell the court what you observed." Tiffany's voice was barely above a whisper. "I saw Vanessa questioning Reese about her mother's house, leading questions about whether she felt safe there, whether her mother ever got angry, whether she'd rather live with her father full time." "How did the child respond?" "She was confused. She kept saying she loved both her parents, but Vanessa kept pushing, telling her that good daughters don't lie to protect bad mothers." "What was the child's reaction?" "She started crying. She was 10 years old, and she felt like she was betraying someone, no matter what she said." "Did you observe anything else?" "Vanessa told Fred that families who live together are more real than families who don't. She was trying to make him feel like his mother's house wasn't his real home." "Thank you, Miss Evans. Mr. Davidson, your witness?" Davidson stood up, but he looked defeated. "No questions, Your Honor?" "Mrs. Burke, you may respond to these allegations." Vanessa stood up, her composure finally cracking completely. "This is all lies. I love those children like they're my own." "That's the problem," Judge Williams said dryly. "They're not your own. They have a mother. A mother who uses them as weapons. A mother who won't let them have a normal family life. A mother who followed the custody agreement while you attempted to circumvent it. I was trying to give them opportunities. You were trying to replace their mother. There's a difference." Vanessa's lawyer pulled her back down to her seat, but the damage was done. "Mr. Burke, do you have anything to say?" Quinn stood up one more time. "Your Honor, I want to apologize to my ex-wife. I thought I was protecting my children, but I see now that I was hurting them. I had no idea what Vanessa was doing behind my back. And now that you do know?" Quinn looked at Vanessa, then at me. "I think the children should be with their mother. I think I need to figure out what kind of father I want to be." Vanessa shot to her feet. "Quinn, you can't be serious." "Sit down, Mrs. Burke. Mr. Burke, are you saying you don't oppose your ex-wife's petition?" "No, Your Honor, I don't oppose it. I think Lucy's right. The kids need stability, and she's the one who can give it to them." "Very well. Based on the evidence presented and Mr. Burke's testimony, I'm granting full physical custody to Lucille Burke. Mr. Burke will have supervised visitation every other weekend until he completes a co-parenting course and demonstrates that he can maintain appropriate boundaries with his current wife regarding the children." The gavel came down. Vanessa was crying, not sad tears, but furious ones. Quinn looked like he'd aged 10 years in one morning. As we walked out of the courtroom, Quinn caught up to me in the hallway. "Lucy, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught?" "I'm sorry I let her manipulate me. I'm sorry I almost lost my kids because I was too stupid to see what was happening." "Your kids?" "Our kids. I know they're our kids. I never forgot that, even when I acted like I did." I looked at him for a long moment. "You have a lot of work to do, Quinn." "I know, but I want to do it. I want to be the father they deserve." "Then prove it." As I walked away, I heard Vanessa screaming at him in the parking lot. But for the first time in months, it wasn't my problem anymore. My children were coming home. The kids were waiting on my front porch when I got home from court, their suitcases beside them. My mother sat in her car in the driveway, having picked them up from school as planned. "Mum!" Fred ran toward me, his face lighting up. "Grandma said we get to stay with you all the time now." I knelt down and pulled him into a hug. "That's right, baby." Reese approached more cautiously. "What about Dad?" "You'll still see Dad, just differently." "What about Vanessa?" I looked at my 10-year-old daughter, who'd been carrying the weight of adult problems for months. "You don't have to worry about Vanessa anymore." "Good," she said quietly. "I didn't like feeling like I had to choose." "You never had to choose, sweetheart. You were just made to feel like you did." My mother got out of her car and walked over. "How did it go?" "We won." She nodded once, satisfied. "Good. These children belong with their mother." That evening, as I was making dinner, my phone rang. Quinn's name appeared on the screen. "Lucy, can we talk?" "What about?" "I left Vanessa. I stopped stirring the pasta sauce." "What?" "I moved out this afternoon. I'm staying at a hotel until I can find an apartment." "Quinn, I know what you're going to say, that it's too little too late, and maybe it is, but I couldn't stay married to someone who would hurt my children." "Our children." "Our children." "You're right. They were always our children, and I let her make me forget that." I sat down at the kitchen table. "What changed your mind?" "Hearing those recordings, seeing how she manipulated not just you, but me too. I thought I was protecting the kids, but I was just enabling someone who was hurting them. And now I want to earn back the right to be their father. Really be their father, not just the guy who pays for things and shows up on weekends. That's going to take time. I know. I'm starting therapy next week, individual and co-parenting classes. I want to understand how I let things get so bad." "Good. Lucy, thank you." "For what?" "For fighting for them, for not giving up, for being the mother they needed when I wasn't being the father they deserved." After I hung up, Reese appeared in the kitchen doorway. "Was that Dad?" "Yeah." "Is he okay?" "He's going to be. Are you okay?" She shrugged. "I'm glad I don't have to pretend to like Vanessa anymore." "You never had to pretend." "I felt like I did. She was always watching, always asking questions. It was exhausting." I pulled her into a hug. "You don't have to be exhausted anymore." 2 weeks passed before I heard from Vanessa directly. She showed up at my door on a Tuesday evening, looking nothing like the polished woman who'd tried to steal my children. "I want to see them," she said. "That's not going to happen." "I helped raise them for 2 years." "You manipulated them for 2 years." "I loved them." "You loved the idea of them. You loved what they represented, the perfect family you thought you could create by erasing me. That's not true. Isn't it? You never wanted to be their stepmother, Vanessa. You wanted to be their only mother." Her composure cracked. "Maybe I did. Maybe I thought they'd be better off with me." "Why? Because I work 2 jobs? Because I live in a rental house? Because I'm not perfect? Because I could give them things you couldn't. Like what? Anxiety, confusion, the feeling that loving their mother was somehow wrong. I could give them stability. They had stability. With me. You tried to destroy that. I made mistakes. You made choices. Calculated, deliberate choices to hurt my children. They're not just your children. Yes, they are. They're mine and Quinn's. They were never yours." She stood there for a moment, tears streaming down her face. "I lost everything. You lost what you tried to steal. There's a difference. Quinn won't even talk to me." "Good. I have nothing left. You have what you always had, yourself. Maybe now you can figure out who that is without trying to take someone else's life." She turned and walked away. I watched her get in her car and drive off, knowing I'd probably never see her again. That night, I tucked the kids into their beds, their permanent beds, in their permanent home. "Mom?" Fred called out as I was turning off his light. "Yeah, baby." "I'm glad we live here all the time now." "Me too." "And Mum?" Reese's voice came from across the hall. I never wanted to call her Mommy V. I just felt like I had to. "I know, sweetheart. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do anymore." "Good, because you're my mum. You're my only mum." I stood in the hallway between their rooms, listening to them settle into sleep. The house was quiet, peaceful in a way it hadn't been in months. My phone buzzed with a text from Jerome. "Vanessa's lawyer called. She's not contesting the custody order. It's over." I typed back, "Thank you for everything." "You did this, Lucy. You fought for your kids and won." I looked around at my small, imperfect house. The rental that Vanessa had mocked, the home that Quinn had dismissed. It wasn't much, but it was ours. Really ours. The victory hadn't come without cost. I'd lost friends who thought I was being vindictive. I'd spent money I didn't have on legal fees. I'd turned my children's lives upside down to put them right again. But as I heard Fred's soft snoring and Reese's whispered, "Good night, Mum," I knew it was worth it. They'd told me to be grateful for a replacement. They'd tried to convince my children that someone else could love them better, provide for them better, mother them better. But these arms that held them when they were sick, these hands that wiped their tears, this heart that had loved them since before they were born, they knew the truth. I was their mother. I had always been their mother, and no one could ever change that.